What's going on, guys? Alpha the Wizard back at it with another video. Today I have something really exciting for you. We're going to go over a Kashtira combo tutorial. A lot of you may know, we're getting new support for Kashtira come Photon Hypernova in February. And without further ado, I'm not going to explain the cards too much, just kind of like the interactions and the combos. Just because if you've landed on this video, you probably already have a general idea of what each card does. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and hop in. We're going to start off, searches us a Kashtira monster, and then we're going to go ahead and special summon the unicorn. This is usually the card you're going to want to search off the field spell unless you already have access to this, just because this is going to get you to the new card Kashtira Papyrus, which Papyrus is basically like an e-telly for the deck. It can summon a Kashtira from deck. The only two targets you really have that are good are Papyrus and Birth. Birth is like a monster reborn. We don't need that just yet. So we're going to go ahead and fire off. That's going to summon a Fenrir. Now this does have to summon in defense mode before I get flamed in the comments, but just for combo tutorial purposes, I was going pretty fast, so don't mind me. Alright, so we're going to summon Fenrir, activate Fenrir's effect. That's going to search Rise Heart. You're usually going to be searching Rise Heart off of Fenrir anyway, so just keep that in mind. And we're going to go ahead and make this Shangri-La. And then we're going to use Rise Heart's effect. This card's going to let us summon itself for free since we control a Kashtira. And then on summon, we'll use that effect to banish a Kashtira card from deck. And then we can also trigger our Shangri-La, because this is going to make them banish 3 from the top, and then Shangri-La, when they do that, they're going to lock a zone of our choice. Then use Shangri-La, lock a zone, and then bring out the new boss monster. Since this card's really cool, since Shangri-La's activated its effects this turn, I can also use any Kashtira monster material, just like a Zodiac monster kinda. Alright, but then card, okay? So basically, just what we have here is on our opponent's standby phase, we're going to use Shangri-La's effect to summon any Kashtira from our deck, prefer or Fenrir. So it depends on what you think your opponent's playing, but yeah, and then we also can trigger, like if they were to activate a monster effect or anything, we can use Fenrir or Unicorn to banish one of their cards face down, and then that's also going to trigger a Rise Heart as mandatory chain link 1. It is a mandatory effect when a card's banished to equip that card to it. So in this case, we're able to equip Papyrus as well. But then in addition to that, Shangri-La chain link 2 to lock a zone. So yeah, that's it for the first one. Moving on to the second one, we're going to see what we would do if we just started off with Unicorn and Papyrus. Since we're usually going to search Papyrus, now we have a little bit more flexibility with our Unicorn. So standby main combo, I'm going to show you a little bit something different than the last one. Use Unicorn's effect to get Birth, and then use Papyrus to get Fenrir in defense mode. Fenrir effect to search Rise Heart. This time around, I'm going to go ahead and make Diabolos Mind Hacker. Use his effect. This gives us free knowledge of our opponent's extra deck. What it's going to do, it's going to allow us to look at our opponent's extra deck and banish one monster from it face down. And then in addition to that, not to dive too deep into it, but if a card your opponent owns and possesses is banished face down while you control this card, banish cards from the top of your opponent's deck equal to the face down banish cards. So that's going to come up a lot in this deck. So now we're going to get the Birth. Birth is going to free summon the Unicorn from Graveyard. And now we can trigger our Rise Heart. That's going to summon and then affect the banish one, and then they banish the top 3 from their deck. And then now he's a level 7. And we can overlay for our Shangri-La. And then standby phase, we're going to go ahead and use the Shangri-La. This might not seem like a lot. Just keep in mind this is a 2-card combo. But it is being able to banish any card from their extra deck. But yeah, so same thing as last time. Standby phase, we use Shangri-La to summon either Unicorn or Fenrir. And if they are on tier, we can eliminate one of their Kikaloses with Mind Hacker. And then in standby phase, summon Unicorn to potentially eliminate their second one, and then basically make them you know, it's going to be tough for him without Kit. But they do have a Zeus play that they can do to clear the board. So worst case scenario, you don't always want to have to banish Kit. Sometimes with Mind Hacker, you could just banish their Zeus to like right off rip. And then with a Unicorn, you could banish like a Kaleido Heart. So you're just eliminating their boss monsters one by one. But yeah. So that's it for that one. Moving on to the next one, we have the Field Spell and the Birth. So this is very similar. Very, very similar. The only difference is we have the Birth. So we're going to go ahead and summon Unicorn. Unicorn effect to get Papyrus. And then activate the Papyrus to summon Fenrir in defense mode. Just keep that in mind. Fenrir effect, that's going to search the Rise Heart pretty much as always. And then in this combo, instead of doing Mind Hacker, I'm just going to show you what it would be like if we did just do the Shangri-La play first. So we're going to use Shangri-La, and then use Rise Heart's effect to special, and then banish one. They're going to banish the top 3 from their deck, and then we're going to use Shangri-La to lock a zone, and then we can just overlay into a Rise Heart. We don't necessarily have to do it here, but it is pretty decent, because now we can just use Birth to summon our Tearlaments Kashtira, and then we can use Tearlaments Kashtira to mill 3. Since our Rise Hearts on the field, they all get banished. And we did hit the trap card, so I was just doing this for combo purposes. This isn't always the best line. However, the trap card, without diving in too deep, when it's banished, one Kashtira XYZ monster, and add one monster attached to it to your hand. So we can add Fenrir, we can add Unicorn, or Rise Heart. But then also this is going to trigger to equip any banished card. So what we're going to do, link 2, technically what I should have done is added back the Fenrir or Unicorn, because then we can summon. Since we haven't used our normal summon, Kashtira Birth lets us normal summon a level 7 without tributing. So basically what I could have done is got back Fenrir or Unicorn, normal summoned it, and I still could have made the Diabolos. So it's a little bit better of a line than the last combo. But yeah, that's really it for this combo. It's very similar to the last one, but you know, there's different ways you can go about it. So moving on to the last one, we're going to see what we would do if we start off with the Fenrir, Reinhardt, or Rise Heart and Unicorn, because half the time you're searching Rise Heart off Fenrir, and then a lot of times, like, you know, you don't always, like, you know, if you open too many, it's like your searches are very limited. So we will see what we can do. We're going to go ahead and special summon. Very good just with 3 cards, by the way. Unicorn's going to go ahead and get us Birth, since we already have access to Fenrir. There's justification for getting Papyrus there, but at the same time, this also has an interruption effect, so we went ahead and went this route. So now we're going to normal summon Fenrir, use effect to get Tearlaments Kashtira, and then overlay for Shangri-La. We usually want to make this in the extra monster zone, just for the sole purpose of we can start locking their zones. Like for example, we're using Rise Heart's effect, banish 1, and then they're going to banish 3 from their deck, and then we trigger Shangri-La, preferably locking the middle zone. Okay, and then we're going to trigger Birth, which I actually was speeding through the combo tutorials, so my apologies. I forgot to do it in the tutorial, so just imagine that one of these 3 was Shangri-La. So now the Scareclaw Kashtira doesn't really do too much that's that insane. Then we overlay for the Mind Hacker. We can go ahead and use the Mind Hacker's effect, banish 1 face down, and then we can trigger Shangri-La to lock up another zone. So now they have 2 zones locked, and since Shangri-La, we put this in the extra monster zone, because most decks, if we can lock these 3 zones and they're a link-based deck, they have heroes that they can summon anything to. So they're limited to 1 link monster. So yeah, now go ahead and trigger Tearlaments Kashtira to special by banishing the Scareclaw, and then use the effect to mill 3. Didn't hit anything good, unfortunately, but it's just a bonus effect. And then we can just, since we use Shangri-La's effect this turn, we can freely overlay for a Rise Heart. And then just looking at what we have here, it's pretty much the same as all the other combos, you know, but sometimes you get an extra XYZ. A lot of times though, if you don't see enough Kashtiras, you're only ending on the two XYZs, whether it be the Shangri-La and the Arise Heart or the Shangri-La and Diabolos. It really just depends on how you wanted to go about it. But before we do conclude this, I want you to just take a look at what we have here. Imagine two of these zones should be locked up already. And then on their standby phase, we're going to trigger Shangri-La to summon Fenrir or Unicorn. In my opinion, if I was playing against Tier, I'd probably get Unicorn, just because when they activate a monster effect, I can use Unicorn's effect to banish their second kit, and then I can lock this zone as well. So yeah, that's very, very powerful, but then this is also going to trigger to attach something. It's really synergized as well with the Papyrus, because when Papyrus is banished, you can add one of your banished Kashtira cards. This whole deck has really good inherent synergy. But yeah, so that does it for the combo tutorial. I really hope you got a lot of value from this, because I really enjoy doing these kind of videos for you guys. Make sure you drop a like, comment, subscribe down below. Let me know if there was anything I missed. I was just trying to show you different lines that you could take. The lines that I was showing might not always be the most optimal lines. I was trying to do them a little bit different every single time. So it really just depends on the situation and what deck your opponent's on. But this is basically a general foundation of what you can do. But yeah, so that concludes this video. Make sure you stay tuned for the next video. I'm gonna go over a Kashtira deck profile, just giving you a general idea of what cards you might be able to play. It's not going to be the most optimized list, but it will be a very good starting point. But yeah, with all that being said, I will see you in the next one.